Hello, all. I am Chi Chi, and I am watching my show, the show that I was so excited to get back into. And it has been a gift from me to me because this week has been the most relaxed week I have had in a while. And boy, did I need this. It's funny. I started filming this video, and then I actually got a phone call, and I was able to kind of catch up with family for a little bit. And it just reminded me because I wanted to talk about something different. I'm still going to talk about that, but it just kind of reminded me that I am just on the right path with doing what I need to do for myself. Because normally during the week, I try to get things done that I haven't done during work. And when I say that, I'm talking about like my planner type stuff. Because since I work 12s, once everything is done, basically, I would say by like maybe from like it's pretty busy when I get in until about 8 o'clock or midnight, depending on where I am. So after that, I'll kind of I'll get into some planner work I had to do or catch up on like other stuff that I had been previously watching. So that's pretty much where I do my to do stuff. And I'll have my planner just out and about around the house if I have like an idea or something. I'll keep it open if I just like have an idea of something, but I'm not necessarily working on it. And like I said in this last week, I've been catching up on my show, and it has been great. I am just reminded of life in general. So, the show's been on the air for like 15, 16 years now, and it is still on the air. So I'm so excited to catch up to where it is currently. But like, I'm just watching these people and their lives change and grow, which happens, which is good because obviously that's what life's about. But yeah. Now I forgot my first point, but I can go on about my other points though. So, I am just so glad that things did not turn out the way that I thought they would 15, 16 years ago. It is definitely a better situation for me because, first of all, teenagers think they know everything and they don't, obviously, but you can't tell them that you could. It's not going to do any good. But I'm still very glad that things did not end up the way that I had envisioned them because I think I would be so very miserable. And kind of tying into the conversation I just had, I'd have been locked in. I'd have been locked in because it would have been a situation to where that just would have been a situation. There would have been more people involved, maybe even newer humans. And just for like how life has turned out, like I said, I'm so glad that, I didn't end up where I thought that I was going to end up, especially in my the very beginning stages of me. Well, I'm glad that I'm not where I was, and where I thought I would be, because where I thought I would be, it wouldn't have been good because I would have started my life and been in a situation that wouldn't have made me happy. And then I would have been super locked into a situation that would not have worked out. And I wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I'm going to do. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking about when it comes to just because it is very like nostalgic a bit. I'm pretty much caught up to where I stopped watching because like I said, the show's been on for 15 years. So I'm in like the middle of season 5 now, and we're getting closer to when I stopped watching the show because I stopped watching it, I want to say in it might have been 2014, 2015, 2016, somewhere in there I had stopped watching it. And obviously now we're in 2024, so got a lot of stuff to catch up on. But yeah, I'm watching the people go through what they're going through. And one story in specific, one of the characters was so happy that she had not married her first boyfriend. So that's kind of akin to the situation that I was just like, yeah, no. I mean, sometimes it works out for people. I have family members that are married and have been married for now 20 plus years, and sometimes, you do marry your high school sweetheart. But yeah, I would say for the most part, that's not something that happens. And it's not something I really think about either, because I don't I have, like I said, in the last video, or it might have been the one before that, I said there are some things that like people just don't talk about, like, what is it? Money, politics, and religion. That was it. But also, I think something that people, well, not people, but me personally, what I feel keeping more private is like relationships. I'm sure I'll talk about. Oh, when I say I mean romantic relationships, because like I've talked about relationships on here. But well, I think that private or romantic relationships should be more private. Yeah, just because that is something to be protected, So, but just in sharing a little bit about my past, I have not had many relationships at all. I have literally dated less than a handful of people. So, my first relationship was extremely long. Don't know if I've mentioned that before. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. But it was 8 years. So, yeah, I am just so glad that, that happened and it ran its course. And the show that I'm watching is about people and their lives, and these people they have kids. So I just thank God, like I mentioned in my last video, that I got on birth control when I was 15 because, oh my gosh, my life does not look anything like I thought it would. And I can't imagine what that would be like if I had to, like, raise a human, especially the world we have now. Like 15 years ago, it was different. 10 years ago, we didn't have, what is it? I was going to say bird flu. No, there was something on the radio about that. But the pandemic. I don't know why I wanted to say Polar Express, but we didn't have the pandemic. Even 5 years ago, the world is completely different. Inflation, there's just a bunch of things going on that I am just glad to be a single little Pringle, with no kids or anything like that, because back in the day I had imagined that definitely by this time, I am now in my 30s, I imagined that I would have a few kids by now, and that's still absolutely a possibility for me, for sure, but it is not on the radar. I am not like pining for it. There were times, especially when I was hitting my mid-20s, like 25, 26, 27, I think I got little bouts of baby fever. Yeah. And that was really like, I mean, I've always kind of envisioned myself with kids, for sure. I didn't really have a time limit on it. I don't have a time limit on it. I think that kids deserve two good parents, two good, healthy people that are ready to take on the highs and lows, excuse me, of parenting. So, that is important. So, if that is in the cards for me, that would be wonderful. But, something else that I was thinking about is just because my life has, turned out differently than I thought, I just there is like potential for so much. And there are things that I felt like I've already done and gotten, like, some of my personal goals I feel like I have achieved, but there's just so much more because, like, I've never really, like, envisioned myself having a regular job. I've never really envisioned myself having a regular life. I'm not a regular person. And normal isn't a thing. Like, it's kind of I guess there's, like, average. There's the average thing, like, I don't even know if it's the same now because it's 2024, but the whole, like, house, marriage, 2.5 kids. I don't know if it's if that's the same standard. Well, for sure I know people aren't having kids like they used to. But anyway, I'm just talking about, like, air quotes, like, normal. I don't think normal is a thing. Nobody is normal. Nothing is, like, normal. But there is, like, an average. There's, I guess there's an average way to be in society. And I never saw myself fitting that mold. I knew I was different, very, very different from the time that I was little because I just... a little bit of nature, a little bit of nurture. So I just knew I was a different kind of person. And, yeah, I'm still, like, I still have a lot of time to, like, do the family thing. Personally, my own family, like, because, I come from people, but, like, I'm talking about, like, having my own family. I still have time for that. So I'm not in any type of rush because, I mean, like I said, in my mid-20s, that was something that I was like, oh, TikTok, that should have happened by now. But, there are so many advancements, and like I said, I refuse to bring another person into the world unless I have the certain criteria that I think is important for that to happen. Um, because that's a big thing. That's no like little decision. And yeah, I'm trying to recall now if there was anything else because there was another point that I wanted to make. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, with that criteria, something else that I was thinking about was like, so my grandma and grandpa, like, and things were way different back then than they are now, because, like back then, like, women didn't have as much of a choice in general. But something just interesting about them is they had some fundamental differences. So my grandma was Catholic and my grandpa was Muslim. And, back in the day, it's not like there's nothing new under the sun. Since people have been on the planet, they have been like intermingling with like different people. Like certain places are more homogenous than not. Like I live in America, so we're not homogenous. But like somewhere like, India or Japan or, well, I can't really think off the top of the dome, but like those places are very homogenous. Most of the people are like the same, they believe the same things and whatnot. But, yeah, that's something else that it's important. But it's just something to think about because how much can like two people like come together when they have like differences like that. Like I actually have a coworker who their partner, they have different views too. And it's funny because the way they explained it to me was like their words, and I'm not paraphrasing, is they said, oh, we have opposite religions because it's not like one of them, okay, I don't even know. Here's an example. So, being Christian and being Catholic, those are somewhat similar religions. And you know what? I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth, so I am not going to compare any other two, but I know a little bit about, being Christian and being Catholic. So those are like somewhat similar. They're Abrahamistic religions. Jesus is involved, God is involved. But my coworker has what he called an opposite view, which I understand, and I don't want to even that's their business. So I don't want to say exactly what it was, but one of them has an Abrahamistic religion, and the other one has whatever you can consider the opposite of that. And I'm a pretty open-minded person, so I don't judge them for their views. And actually, they told me a little bit about it, and so what they said is it gets a bad rap, obviously because of the name. And you guys can guess, I'm kind of throwing hints on there, but when he, okay, well, it doesn't matter because you guys don't know, but I do like to keep things very they, them, and not, so that's just how I like to put things. But anyway, it has, they were explaining to me what it is really. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that is something new. I didn't know that at all. So anyway, point being is that it wasn't even, they are not the point. The point is I was talking about my grandmother and my grandfather and how they had, one was Muslim, the other was Catholic. I have a coworker who, they've been with their partner for, I want to say 8-9 years now, actually, and they're working it out. So just staying in the line of starting a family and having some of those differences, I absolutely know that it's possible. And I think it highly, highly, highly depends on the people. People, they always say opposites attract, and I think there's something to that. And also, there's a bunch of very similar people, very happy, and, decisions are a lot easier because, they decide okay, well, I'm just going to make up somebody. Bob and Jane, there we go. Nice, nice, Bob and Jane, they live in, I don't know, North Dakota, and they're from North Dakota, and they love North Dakota. They're going to stay in North Dakota, right? So, that makes it easier. But say, Bob is in, North Dakota, and Jane's in California, and they want to be together. So, I mean, are they going to live in North Dakota? Are they going to live in California? Are they going to go live in New Mexico, There has to be some type of coming together for the situation to actually work. And I mean, I've seen it in my own life. I know that when people have differences, it can absolutely be people can compromise and make that work. But it just has to be, there. The willingness has to be there, on both parties, because like I said, I've always envisioned myself with children, and I think they do need a good example. They need to have parents that are able to come together on things and show them the importance of being able to tolerate differences, healthy differences, not tolerate anything that is not okay, obviously. But those are just some of the thoughts that I am having right now. And I am feeling very, I guess, relieved to have the time to be able to really, know 100%, what it is and what it isn't in certain aspects. Like I said, and I've said before, there are certain aspects of my life that are great. They're working fine, no squeaky wheels. It's nice and greased up. Just like one of the shirts I have in my shop, wink, wink, if you want to check it out. That's a hat. There's a hat that says wink, wink, because I think that's cute, and I, do it all the time. But anyway, there are some things that are, I don't know. I feel like I could budge on certain things that, I don't feel like are compromising myself as a human being. But there are some things that I stand 10 toes down on, and I'm not, I feel very solid in that. So, yeah. I just think stuff like that is very, very interesting and important. Because like I said, I'm in a point in my life where I could literally do anything. I could do anything. I have the time, I have the space, I have the freedom, I have the mindset. So yeah, and I know there's I think it's still 7-8 billion people on the planet. So, I know that there is eventually there will be a time when it will be the time for such a thing to happen. And yeah, I'm not in a rush for it. But the idea of it is exciting because now being a fully grown woman, I just know better what I am looking for. And I've always been like I said, I've had less than a handful of relationships, and all of those relationships have been really long, except for the last couple, which were I was kind of just I guess that was the first time I dated regularly, because in the past I would date somebody and now we're in a relationship. So that is that, and that is how I literally only have had a couple partners ever in my lifetime at my big age. But actually, like I said, the last two people, well, it was kind of longer-ish. The last one, before the last one, I want to say was a year, and then the last one was 9 months. So that's quite a bit of time. But it wasn't serious at all. No. It wasn't serious. But I'm looking forward to just getting out there, and I'm not in a rush. I'm not immediately gonna do that, but it's something that I can look forward to now that I feel more of my ducks are in a row than have been. And it's an exciting prospect, but I've got other things to focus on, of course, and I think it's okay to kind of stick my toe in a little bit, and see about it. So yeah, that is a direction I am thinking about, but not quite there just yet. But yeah, I feel now it's a good time to start thinking about it. Because like I said, this show just has me thinking wow, I really thought that my life would be one way, and thankfully it is not. And thankfully for both parties, because when you're not happy, the other person's not happy. So, it's not all bad. I've met some really great people in my life. I really have. And it just hasn't worked out. And then I've met some not so good people. And think. It's wonderful. It's just great. It's really, really good that didn't work out. So, yeah, I believe that is all for this one. And I will talk to you guys in the next one.